Hey guys, today we're going to go over two types of energy that we're going to look at. And the first type you've probably heard of before is called kinetic energy. And we abbreviate that with a KE, capital KE. Alright, that's one variable, KE. And this is the type of energy an object has when it's in motion. Alright, so it's the energy of motion. Kinetic basically means motion, alright? So when an object has a velocity or speed, then it has kinetic energy. If it's not moving, if its speedometer if you imagine an object as a car and the speedometer says 0, then it has 0 kinetic energy also, alright? So let's look at the formula here. KE, how do we calculate it? Has to do with speed or velocity. So you do a half times mass, m for mass, times v squared. Right? A half times m times v squared. You put a box around that. When you calculate kinetic energy, the unit is going to be joules. You can abbreviate that with a capital J. Alright, so the v is velocity. That gets squared when you plug in the velocity to the formula, and you multiply it by just m and then 1/2 or 0.5. Right? You can calculate kinetic energy. So write down v is velocity. That's what it stands for. M stands for mass. Right? And the unit for velocity when you plug it in is going to be meters per second. Just to review that, and if you see kilograms, that's in your word problems, that gets plugged in for mass, alright? And then kinetic energy, that's our new unit called joules, alright? Alright, our other type of energy is called gravitational. We're just going to study two different types. Gravitational potential energy. So this energy is stored up, waiting to become kinetic energy. And the way you get gravitational potential energy, otherwise known as GPE, for gravitational potential energy, just abbreviate it GPE, the way you get it is when you lift something up higher, alright? So if I put the pencil down and I lift it, I've given it gravitational potential energy, alright? So it's the energy due to height. If an object gets a height, it has gravitational potential energy. Alright, now it's not moving yet, so that's why it's potential energy. Because if I lift something, I give it GPE, gravitational potential energy. If I were to drop it and it starts moving, then it has KE, kinetic energy, because it has motion, right? So these two types of energy are related when you drop something, right? The GPE, you lift it up and give it GPE, and it changes into KE when it starts moving when you drop it. So to calculate GPE, you do mass times, remember a little g, gravity, times the height, right? No squared or anything, so it's a kind of easy formula. Again, the unit of GPE is joules, because any kind of energy is going to have the unit of joules. We only have two types of energy, so they both have the unit of joules. Alright? Now, like last time, let's just write down M stands for mass in this formula. So if you see kilograms in your word problems, that's a mass. It's plugged in for M. G, that's the acceleration from gravity, or due to gravity. And remember that that is 9.8 m over s squared. Just know that you have to plug in 9.8 for g, like you've been doing. and h is the height. If you see something in meters in your word problems, then plug it in for height, how high something is lifted up. Alright, so those are two types of energy. You get two formulas for it. One is when you lift something, that's GPE. One is when something is moving, that's kinetic energy. And these formulas are how to calculate, and we'll go over how to calculate it in the next video.